every athlete when he or she says, you know, I'm done. Doesn't usually happen mid-game, though, does it?
I still find this so crazy, bizarre, whatever you want to call it. But you know, the punchline for the Buffalo Bills has been, just how bad is it for your team this season? Well, so bad that one of their players decided to retire at halftime. Seriously, this happened in their game against the Chargers yesterday, and maybe we might have to say that the Bills are in the running for worst team in football. But Vontae Davis, a 10-year pro, just signed to the Bills in this offseason. Decent career with the Dolphins and Colts. And at halftime, they were losing to the Chargers, went in, put on his street clothes, told the coaches he was quitting, and left Ralph Wilson Stadium. I mean, that was the end for Vontae Davis yesterday. It also left his teammates pretty perplexed. Take a listen.
Never have seen it ever. Pop Warner, high school, college, pros, never heard of it, never seen it. And it's just completely disrespectful to his teammates.
Did he say anything to you as a
Did
veteran?
he say anybody to
He didn't say nothing to nobody.
He left? When did you find out?
You know as much as I know. I found out going in the second half of the game. Coming out, they said he's not coming out, he retired.
Yeah, Lorenzo Alexander kind of says maybe what we were thinking too, but Davis released a lengthy statement last night. Today on the field, reality hit me fast and hard. I shouldn't be out there anymore. I meant no disrespect to my teammates and coaches, but I hold myself to a standard, and that standard is he physically felt he's not able to compete at the level that he has throughout his career. So at age 30, deciding that, you know what, I'm going to walk away. Why not walk away, you know, in training camp, maybe before the season?
So he says it's more a reflection on him and not the team, but it certainly doesn't reflect well.
It just corresponds with an 0-2 record.
Friends and family are mourning the loss of former NFL star and Dunbar High School alum Vontae Davis. Police in South Florida discovered the 35-year-old's body this morning in his home. And tonight, while the investigation into his death continues, we're hearing from the Pro Bowler's longtime friend. News 4's Walter Morris spoke with his former high school coach.
Devastated. Couldn't believe it.
Friends and family in disbelief following the death of Vontae Davis. The 35-year-old former NFL cornerback and D.C. native found dead Monday morning. Police say they were called to a South Florida mansion by an assistant. And while the circumstances of his death are unclear, investigators say they don't believe it was foul play.
He lit up a room. He was a really good kid.
Longtime friend Craig Jeffries describes Davis as kind, generous, driven, and full of life.
Vontae's junior year, I think this is 2004, the Turkey Bowl, he was named the MVP.
Jeffries coached Davis at Dunbar High School in the early 2000s and has been close with his family for decades.
Just shocked, you know, that he would pass, and just wanted to be there for the family, particularly Vernon, who's his brother. He was devastated as well. That's who broke the news to me.
During his 10-plus years in the NFL, Davis played for the Dolphins, Colts, and Bills before abruptly retiring during a game in 2018.
We were at the University of Illinois football camp. We went up to the camp, and he ran a great time, and they offered him on the spot a scholarship.
Jeffrey says over the years he's coached 11 athletes who went on to play pro, and Davis was an all-star on and off the field who led by example.
I can't remember one time when, you know, he wasn't excited to be around or wasn't happy.
Drugs are a major problem.
News 4 was there in 2019 when the two-time Pro Bowler turned author stopped by his old middle school to read the children's book he wrote about overcoming adversity, thanks to his grandmother who raised him and his 6 siblings.
A lot of my friends didn't end up on a good side of things.
Davis was known for giving back to his community long after leaving the DMV.
He just recently gave back to the Booster Club at Oxon Hill High School, which he's not a graduate of Oxon Hill High School, because our relationship, you know, he made a generous contribution.
And Jeffrey says this is a huge loss for everyone who knew him.
He's going to be missed.
How you doing? This is Theo Soaps Soul Center. Today I want to talk about Vontae Davis. He's a former NFL star and he's recently found dead in his Miami home. I'm going to read you an article from Yahoo Sports. Vontae Davis, former NFL cornerback for the Miami Dolphins, Indianapolis Colts, and Buffalo Bills, has died. With all 3 teams confirming the news on Monday, he was 35, just 2 months short of his 36th birthday. The cause of his circumstances of his death are unknown. According to the Davie Police Department, Davis was found dead in the Florida home on Monday morning after being discovered by the House assistant. Per ESPN, Coast reporter Stephen Holder, and death investigation is currently underway. Though investigators have said they don't expect foul play, Davis, who spent a decade in the NFL, is best known for his abrupt retirement in 2018 at halftime of the Bills' Week 2 game against the Los Angeles Chargers. Davis retired and released a lengthy statement afterward explaining his move. His statement read, "Today on the field, reality hit me fast and hard. I shouldn't be out here anymore. It's more important for me and my family to walk away healthy than willfully embrace the warrior mentality and limp away too late." After his sudden retirement, Davis seemed to be in a good place. The Washington Post did a profile on him late 2009, a year after he left the game. He had recently published Middle School Rules, a children's book in which professional athletes share lessons they learned growing up. Davis shared his own story in the book, a rough upbringing in Washington, D.C., with a violent father and drug-addicted mother. His grandmother saved him and six siblings, including NFL former tight end Vernon Davis, by taking them from foster care and adopting them in school. Davis excelled athletically in both football and track, ended up choosing to attend Illinois. He's the first-round draft pick in 2009. He was a two-time All-Pro during his NFL career. Davis was arrested 2 months ago in Miami for driving under the influence. He hit a truck, pulled over with a flat tire, then was found asleep on the side of the road when police arrived. He admitted to police the scene that he had been drinking. As news of Davis' death began to spread, tributes started appearing on social media. Coast owner Jim Irsay and former teammates Pat McAfee and T.Y. Hilton all shared their feelings about Davis' sudden passing, as did many others. This is a very sad story with Vernon Davis. I remember him in Illinois, big-time Illinois fan. He was one of the top recruits to come out of Illinois, getting drafted in the first round, and came along when Illinois was doing their resurgence and bringing in a lot of top recruits, especially from the Washington, D.C. area. His brother Vernon Davis, also a very talented football player. It's just very sad news to see Vontae pass away. Some more news came out that Vernon Davis said that he may have succumbed to his last sauna visit. We are not sure, but there also have been a lot of numbers of CTE, possibly in certain players, football players who have passed away recently. There was a movie that came out called Concussion by Will Smith, and it talked about how a lot of these players go through CTE problems, and we really don't know what they're going through, or if they have CTE, until the player dies or passes away, and then we examine their brain. But as we all know, football is a dangerous sport, and there's really no cushion for the brain. You put a helmet on, but the brain is surrounded by fluid, and once the player gets hit, pretty much the brain is just banging around in your skull, and a lot of times this has caused a lot of damage. Vontae Davis was very athletic, very fast, and a big-time hitter. So I'm not saying it could have been CTE, but we are starting to see CTE numbers is just growing within these younger football players, and we've seen a lot of them are passing away mysteriously, and from a lot of football players just being found in their apartments or houses, passed out on the floor. And we've heard similar stories from other football players that passed away around the same age, or 35 through 40, that their drinking goes up. And maybe they're trying to deal with the stress of the pain from the CTE and the mental aspects of the CTE, possibly. But just wanted to say, rest in peace to Vontae Davis. Thank you for everything that you've given to the community on the East Coast. Thank you to everything you did at the University of Illinois and to the NFL. You changed a lot of lives, man. And like I said, I was a big fan and watched you come to Illinois and being a very talented player. Rest in peace. Again, it's Nathaniel Soaps and Soul Setter signing out. And you all have a good one.